Hello dear students, today I am going to discuss some important questions on fillers, actually single blank fillers, which are usually asked in banking examinations. So dear friends, as you can see, there are two sentences provided with one blank in each, followed by 5 options. There are two sentences. Each sentence has got one blank and there are 5 options. Out of those 5 options, we have to choose one option that should fit in both the blanks of both the sentences. What I want to say is, we should choose one option. That one option should go into the first blank of the first sentence, and at the same time it should also fit in the second blank of the second sentence. I hope it is clear so far. So now, what is important for us to know before we answer filler questions? What are the strategies to be adopted? We are going to shed some light on that. That means I am going to tell you how, by applying which strategies we can answer filler based questions. I am going to give you a couple of examples now. The first one is, whenever you come across filler questions, be it single blank fillers or double blank fillers or triple blank fillers, the do's and don'ts are to be remembered thoroughly. You must remember what to do and what not to do. First of all, assume that there are not a single options provided. There is not any option for you. Don't arrive at the options first. Assume, for time being, just think that you don't have any option. You have only sentences with certain blanks. Right? Second, read the sentence from the beginning to the end, thoroughly, comprehensively. Read the sentence from the beginning to the end thoroughly. Third, try to understand the clues from the sentences themselves. Try to read the sentence first and try to get the clues for your answer from the sentences themselves. So now you must be thinking as to how we are going to get the clues. Dear friends, it is as simple as that. In sentences, you will get clues, and clues will be provided either before the first blank or the second blank. Right? If it is a double blank question. If you are attempting a single blank question, don't forget to look at the word or words that come or comes before the first or before the blank or after the blank. I am talking about the first blank question right now. If there is only one blank in the sentence, don't forget to look at the word or words that come before the blanks and after the blank. Is it clear? Okay. Third, try to read the words in the sentences provided. Those words will give you the clues. Okay. So, altogether, we have to apply 2 to 3 strategies precisely. Let me tell you 3 strategies. First, we should assume that no options are provided. Second, we must read the sentence from the beginning to the end. Third, we must look at the word or words that come before or after the blanks, and then certain words in the sentences will provide you the clue as to which option is going to be the correct answer for you. So now let's get started. As you can see, what I said, I am for time being assuming that no options are provided. There are no options here. Let me directly go to the first sentence. It starts with to. That means now I am convinced that any word that I am going to place here in the first blank must be a verb and in its first form. The verb should be in its first form. Right? Acha. Now, in the second one, you can see here to is also written. That means in the second blank of the second sentence, we also need the verb which is in first form. And dear students, please do remember that when I say verb in first form, I am talking about the base form. Okay, base form. Whenever you find a verb in its first form, the same can be said that the verb is in base form. Right? So this much part is clear right now. So now let us go and visit different places of the sentences. So here it talks about a promise. Everybody knows what a promise is. A promise is just a word, okay, which we give to a person and we assure him that under any circumstances we are not going to break that word. Or you can say a promise is a kind of commitment, right? Commitment from the side of one person to the side of another person or to that person. So now the sentence talks about the significance of a promise. Significance, dear students, means importance. Significance means importance, right? And let me tell you about another important thing. Whenever you come across banking fill in the blanks questions, or for that matter any other new pattern questions belonging to banking exams, you will come across long sentences having more than one or two clauses and some phrases as well. So it is better if you look at those clauses and phrases first and try to understand what they mean. So now let us see in this sentence how many clauses and how many phrases are mentioned. You can see you, starting from you. You must take note of the circumstances, right? This part, starting from you to the circumstances. Okay, here we have one clause, right? And from this part, it was written. From it to was written. Okay, it becomes another clause, that is the second clause. And I am very much convinced that each student who is watching this video must have idea about what a clause is. A clause contains a subject and a verb. You can see here you functions as a subject. Must is a modal, right? And take becomes verb's first form, V1 form. So it becomes a clause, and the second clause starts from it and ends with written. And here it functions as a subject, was is the helping verb, and written third form of the verb. That means the second clause is in passive form and it has followed the passive structure of simple past tense. So till this part, the clause phrase analysis is done. The entire sentence has got two clauses and one phrase. The phrase starts with the sentence, right? And it ends in promise, a promise. Okay. So let me now tell you that all these things are very important for you to know before we plunge into the action part, before we start analyzing the sentence. So let me rub it for you because it looks dirty, and once I make it clean, it will be easier for you to understand. Till this part, I hope everything is crystal clear. Okay, that's fine. So now let us go to the sentences and find out the clues. Here it talks about the promise and its significance, its importance. And it says that you must take note of, my dear students, please take care of this phrase. Take note of, it's a phrase. Okay, It means to pay attention to. We must pay attention to something. That means something is very important, and the author says that we must pay attention to it. And the same feeling, same intention can be expressed by the use of take note of. That means you must pay attention to the circumstances, situations under which circumstances it was written. It means the promise was written. Clear? So let us first read and get the clues from the clauses. You must take note of the circumstances under which it was written. The author wants to say that we must pay attention to the circumstances under which the promise was written. Why should we do this? Why should we pay attention to the circumstances under which the promise was written? We should do so if we want to understand the significance or the importance of a promise. If we want to know how much important a promise is, how important or how significant a promise is, if we want to understand that, then we must do the same. What we should do? We must pay attention to the circumstances under which the promise was written. So my dear friends, you must have understood thoroughly. In the first blank, we need a verb which means to understand, okay, to realize. Clear? So now we are going to the second blank, and let us see the second sentence as well. Let us read it out from the beginning to the end. The house was a good investment as its value was sure to dash over the years. The second sentence has got two clauses. There are two clauses in the second sentence. The first clause starts with the house and it ends here with good investment. Right? So here the house acts as the subject, and the predicate starts from was and it ends in investment. Okay, so this is the predicate. Similarly, the subordinate clause starts with the subordinate conjunction as, right? And here the subject is its value, which is singular, and the predicate starts from was you and ends in the last. Ends at the end of the sentence. So let us see what does the subordinate clause tell us, or what clue are we getting from the subordinate clause, and I am sure that will help us understand the type of word that will go into the second blank. Here it says, as its value was sure to dash over the years. Let me tell you one thing. Whenever we start a clause with as, it is otherwise known as an adverb clause. And here, this clause functions as an adverb clause of reason. That means this clause provides a reason for the action done in the main clause. Is that clear? So now let us go to the main clause and try to understand what does it mean. So before that, let me make it clean. Okay, fine. So now, dear students, pay attention to what I am saying. It's very, very important. The house was a good investment. For example, a person has bought a house, and obviously now he is not regretful that why he purchased the house. He feels happy that it was a good investment, and now the justification why is it thought that the house was a good investment is provided in the next clause. As its value, the value of the house was sure to dash over the years. Over the years means in due course of time, in future, the value of the house is sure to increase. So now we need a word here, okay, in the second blank, which is synonymous with the word increase, which should be a verb and which should be in its first form or the base form. I hope it is clear now, right? So if you have accumulated this much of information, and I am going to tell you quite convincingly that your answer is going to turn out to be absolutely correct. So now let's visit the options and eliminate the irrelevant ones straight away and choose or select the correct one. So now let's get started. Option number 1, comprehend. It's a verb. It means to understand. Right? It means to understand. Apart from this meaning, the verb comprehend does not give us any other meaning. So you can see, we can place it surely in the first blank. Here I can write to comprehend. And if I write comprehend in the first blank of the first sentence, the sentence gives me a clear meaning. And it means if we want to understand the significance or importance of a promise. But the problem arises when I place it in the second blank. If I place it here instead of, in the second blank, then it doesn't give us any perfect meaning, because we need a word which should be synonymous with increase in the second blank. And you must have understood by this time that comprehend doesn't have any other meaning. So now it starts eliminated. It stands eliminated. Let us go to the next option now. Regard. Regard means to consider. To consider something. Okay? Or think about something. Obviously, it can go into the first blank without any hesitation. We can say that to comprehend, instead of comprehend, to regard the significance of a promise. That meaning, that phrase will give this meaning that if we want to think about the significance of a promise, to regard the significance of a promise means to think about or to consider the significance of a promise. But as I said a few minutes back, we cannot put it in the second blank because it will then give no meaning. So now it is an irrelevant choice for us, and hence we can directly eliminate it without any second thought. So dear friends, now we are visiting the third option, and here let me tell you the verb appreciate. Okay, its noun form is appreciation. Whenever we use it as a verb, it gives us two meaning. It gives us two meaning. The first meaning is to increase in value of something, right? To increase in value of something. And the second meaning is to understand a situation. To understand a situation fully. Okay. So what I want to say is, whenever you use appreciate as a verb in a sentence, it carries two meanings. Okay. First, it means to increase in the value of a product or any item for that matter. Second, it means to understand a situation fully. If you have understood the meaning of appreciate thoroughly, then you must have been convinced that this option is the most befitting option and the correct one here in the context. And here, if we use appreciate, if we use the verb appreciate here, that means the overall meaning of the phrase becomes to appreciate the significance of a promise, means to understand the importance of a promise, how important a promise is, that can be understood, right? And it fits here, it fits in the first blank. And if I go by the other meaning of the verb appreciate, that is to increase in value, then obviously it fits here as well. Here to appreciate means to increase. Okay, so now we have already arrived at the correct answer choice, but what we need to do is we must eliminate the remaining two options as well. The remaining 2 options will be easily eliminated. So now let us go to the fourth one. As you can see, rise, R-I-A-C. This word can be used both as a noun. The word rise can be used as a noun and also can be used as a verb. Right? It functions in 2 different ways. It functions as a noun and also it functions as a verb. Whenever, doesn't matter whether it functions as a noun or as a verb, it carries the same meaning. It means to rise, to flourish, to increase, to thrive. Okay, it doesn't have any secondary meaning. So, in the context of this question, rise can go into the second blank, but we cannot fit it in the first blank, and that's why it is also eliminated. Right, dear students? Now we are left with the last option, that is acknowledge. Acknowledge means to accept or admit the existence or truth of something. Acknowledge means to accept or recognize the truth or existence of something. Obviously, from that angle, if you see, acknowledge can unhesitatingly, without any doubt, fit or go into the first blank, but we cannot place it here in the second blank. Hence, option number E also stands eliminated. So, my dear friends, we have only one option, that is appreciate. That is the most appropriate and possible option here. And now, let us move on to the next sentence. We are going to apply the same strategies as I told you a few minutes back. We are not going to visit at the options. We assume that there are no options provided. So now let us quickly read the sentence and see how many clauses are there. As you can see, there are hundreds of children around the country who will be adversely affected by this dash. As you can see, this is an adjective. So here, without any second thought, we need a noun. Right? A noun, a word which is a noun, should be placed in the first blank. And similarly, second, the life of the dash class. Class here is a noun. So we again need an adjective. We need an adjective here to fill the blank. That means for the first blank we require a noun, and for the second blank we require an adjective. Okay, so we need a word here. We need a word which functions both, right, as an adjective and a noun. Is it clear now? Okay, so this is all about the parts of speech. So now let us look at the clauses and phrases, if at all there are any. Okay, obviously a sentence will always have some clauses and phrases. Okay, phrases it may not have all the time, but it must have a clause. So now let us go to the question. Let us read the sentence again. There are hundreds of children around the country. From the beginning of the sentence to this part, it's a clause. It is a main clause. And again, starting from who till the end, there is another clause, and this clause is known as subordinate clause or dependent clause or adjective clause. We can name it as an adjective clause because it starts with a relative pronoun. Okay, that is who. Who here is a relative pronoun. Okay, or we can also say that this is a relative clause. Okay, fine. So the subordinate clause that has been used in this sentence can be named as subordinate clause, dependent clause, adjective clause or a relative clause. And the word who which has been used here is a relative pronoun. Please don't forget, it is very, very important to know. That's why I consumed some time here to give you some idea on that, right? So let's get started. What clue are we going to get from the sentence? It says there are hundreds of children. The author talks about so many children, hundreds of children around the country. That means our country obviously has got so many children. And the author says that who will be adversely affected? Adversely is a negative word, right? Adversely is an adverb. It is an adverb and it means negatively, badly. Okay. So the children, according to the author, are going to be badly affected by this dash. Right. Here, as I said before, we need a noun because this functions as an adjective. Is that clear? So now, a word, okay, will come into the first blank, and that word will negatively affect hundreds of children in the country. Okay, fine. So let us go to the second one. The second sentence says, the life of the dash class. As I told you a few minutes back, class here functions as a noun, and obviously we need an adjective here which should describe this noun and which should be the answer of what kind of class, which class, right? The life of the dash class has been comfortable and luxurious. Okay, so here it talks about a particular group of people. Class here talks about a particular group of people who lead a very comfortable and luxurious lifestyle. Clear? So now we got the answer. Okay, the word which should be placed in the second blank should be an adjective, and with the combination of a class, it should give the meaning of the elite class, or you can say those group of people who usually exercise a lot of power with a lot of money, right? So now let us start visiting the options, and I am sure we are going to get the answers. Okay, but prior to that, let me remind you once that we need a word which should be a noun here and which should be an adjective here, right? That means one word out of the 5, okay, and the same word must be functioning as an adjective and as a noun too. So let's go to the options right away. Judgment. As I said, dear friends, judgment is only a noun. It cannot be used as an adjective. Ruling. So now let us eliminate it. Ruling can be used as a noun, and at the same time it can also be used as an adjective, right? Let us retain it with a question mark because we have 3 more options to eliminate. See, aristocratic. This is only an adjective. Similarly, wealthy. This is only an adjective. Keeping the logic at hand, what we can do is we can eliminate C and D as well. We have now only 2 options left, ruling and elite. Okay, and here let me shed you some light on elite. Elite, the word elite can be used as a noun and at the same time can be used as a verb, right? It refers to a group of people who have money, power and intelligence. Please do remember, elite refers to a group of people who have money, power and intelligence. They exercise a lot of power in a particular country where they live, right? And usually this word carries a positive meaning because it talks about having intelligence. Okay, and now it cannot fit into the first blank. It cannot go into the first blank. It cannot fit in here because here it talks about adversely affected. Okay, badly affected. Just because, my dear students, English is nothing but the application of logic and knowledge. Just apply your common sense and see, just because some elite people are staying in a country, can they adversely, negatively affect a large number of children? The answer comes without any doubt, no. The answer is a clear no. So, we eliminated option number E. We have only one option now, that is the correct answer, that is B. And let me tell you, this ruling here carries two meanings. The word ruling has been used here as a noun, and at the same time it has been used here as an adjective as well. So dear friends, whenever you use ruling as an adjective, okay, with class or with a noun, that means ruling class. Ruling class refers to a group of powerful people. Clear? So now you got ruling. Here ruling has been used as an adjective. And when you use it as a noun, whenever you use as a ruling as a noun, it refers to a very good meaning. Okay, and it gives the meaning, that is a judgment. Ruling, okay, refers to a judgment or a decision by the court. Clear? So now the first sentence with ruling in the first blank gives this meaning, that hundreds of children are there around the country who will be badly affected by this decision of the court. So now hopefully this part is absolutely clear. So now we are moving on to the very next question. Question number 3. Let us do the same thing. We are not deviating from our path. We are not going to visit the options as well. We are simply going to read the sentence, find out the clauses, phrases, and see the words which have been used before and after the blanks, and thereafter, with the help of the clause provided in the sentences, we will try to arrive at the options and try to answer the question. Let me tell you here, he was not involved in anything illegal. As you can see, from this part to this part, it's a clause. It is a clause, right? It is joined by the coordinate conjunction and. You must be knowing that and, or, yet, nor, the function as coordinate conjunctions. Simply they join two sentences or two words of the same stature or significance or importance. And you can see, you have no dash to be concerned. Okay, till this part there is another clause. About spending any of the money, this part, from this part to this part, this is a phrase, and again the sentence has another clause, he acquired. Okay, so altogether the sentence has got three clauses, 1, 2, 3, and one phrase which has been used in between, right? So let me tell you the meaning of the sentence, and then we are going to arrive at the options. Okay, dear friends, what is the meaning of the word acquire? Acquire means, it's a verb. It means to obtain or achieve something by effort. If you are putting in a lot of effort and that helps you to achieve something, to obtain something, be it property, be it a lot of wealth, be it a great empire or whatever, right? So that is the meaning of the verb acquire. Here it talks about he acquired. The author says that a person has obtained or achieved. What has he achieved? Money, a lot of money, right? And now the other part of the sentence says he was not involved in anything illegal. This person by no illegal means has achieved or obtained a lot of money. That means whatever money he has amassed or he has been able to obtain so far, that has been through legal means, by conforming to the rules and regulations or laws of the country. He has not deviated from what has been prescribed to do for him, right? So what I mean to say is, the author says that a person has acquired something, some money here, and he has acquired it not through any illegal means. He has acquired it through legal means. And that's why you have no dash to be concerned about spending any of the money he acquired. Clear? So you have no dash to be concerned means you have no job to be worried about. You don't have any, what I should say, you have no right to be worried about. What? Spending any of the money he acquired. The author wants to say that a person has acquired money, he has acquired it legally, and hence you should not unnecessarily worry about why he is spending those money. So now we need a noun here because no, the word no functions as an adjective. Clear? So now let us go to the next sentence. As you can say, the case against dash and rationality will be presented in the form of arguments that give reasons for these beliefs, right? As you can see, there are two clauses mentioned in the sentence. This is an adjective clause, as I told you some time back, or you can say it's a relative clause. Okay, and now the main clause starts from this part and it ends here after presented. Okay, and here under the main clause we have rationality, which carries a positive meaning and it's a noun preceded by a conjunction, and preceded by means which comes before, and comes before rationality here. And obviously, you know, if a word is used after and that word is a noun, obviously the word that should come before and should also be a noun in terms of parts of speech. This is quite clear, right? So now we need a word which is a noun here and which also should give a positive meaning. Clear? And which should be more or less synonymous with the word rationality here. Is that clear? Okay. Keeping this much information in our mind, if we attack the options, I am sure we are going to emerge victorious. That means we are going to be successful. Clear? We need a noun here. We also need a noun here. Now, can you see and can you say which option will be outrightly eliminated? Yes, you have thought it right. Option number C will be eliminated because this is an adjective. Is that clear? Okay. Now, let us go to option number A. Evidences means proof. Proof of something. And it is not synonymous with rationality. Rationality means the application of logic. The application of logic. Okay. 5. So, logic and evidence, these are not synonymous. We can outrightly eliminate option number A from that angle. Two options have been eliminated so far. Then let us go to option number D, pragmatism. Pragmatism means the trait or quality of being practical. That means if someone practically tries to look at a problem and tries to come up with its solutions, then we can say that that person is pragmatic. Okay, so now this option has, yes, this option can go into the second blank without any doubt, but here it cannot go into the first blank, because though this word is a noun, but we need a word here in the first blank which carries a meaning which is synonymous with rationality. Okay, and here it should give slightly negative meaning. You have no justification, you have no right. Okay, with no, see, with no, when we combine the word with no, that no plus that noun phrase should give us a negative meaning. Okay, so pragmatism cannot go into the first blank. And as you can say, understanding, right? The case against understanding and rationality seems absurd, weird, so it is outrightly eliminated, though we can use this word in the first blank of the first sentence as well. Clear? So now I have one word, only one word left, as you can see, that is reason. And let me tell you one thing, that whenever I say you have no reason, someone has no reason to be concerned about something, I mean to say that someone need not worry about something. Let me repeat, when I say that someone has no reason for concern, okay, I mean to say that someone has no right or he should not worry about something. Okay, dear friends, today I hope all of you enjoyed this section. It was our first session in English. Most probably we are coming with a series of videos in English in future as well. Keep watching, keep growing, and keep sharing, keep subscribing, and keep liking as well. Thank you all and have a very wonderful day ahead.